Hi boys and girls, my name is Miss Jennifer and I'm going to be your pace artist for today. I am really excited to be here and I cannot wait to do some really fun things with you today. We are going to be creating a picture today of yourself, a wagon, and a pumpkin patch. And so let's go ahead and talk about what we need for today. You are going to need a white sheet of paper and a variety of crayons. We, again, are going to be doing a drawing today. So, before we get started with our drawing, I want to do a fun little activity with you. You have been talking about a few things with your classroom teacher, and I want to go over some of those things before we get started with our lesson. You have been talking about force and motion, push and pull. We will also be adding a couple of things that we need in art, and those are going to be our lines, shapes, and colors. So let's get ready to start our activity. I want you to stand up, and I want you to put your chair under your table, just like this. And then I want you to step to your chair and take 1, 2 steps back. Good job. All right, the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving our chair. I want you to make sure that you stay in your own space. So let's put our arms out, our own space. That means that we're not touching our neighbors. We are in our own space. Something else that I need for you to think about are your fingers. As we move this chair around, I want you to be careful not to smash your fingers with the table and chair. So make sure you don't put your hands by the table, only on the top of your chair. All right. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take your hands and I want you to put them on the back of your chair. Notice that your chair is already under your table. Now we're going to be pulling our chair, which means that we're going to take our chair and we're going to pull it to ourselves. Again, we're going to pull it to ourselves. So hands on your chair and let's pull it to ourselves. Good job. Did you have to use any force to move that chair? If you said yes, you were right. Good job. So we just pulled our chairs to ourselves. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take our chair and we're going to push our chair to our table. Now wait for Miss Jennifer. You're going to push your chair. You're going to notice that when you pulled your chair, you had to use some force. But when you push your chair, you're going to even use more force, right? Be careful not to smash your fingers as we push our chairs. Hands on the top of your chairs and push. Oh, using all that force. Good job. You just pushed your chair with force. Good job. So boys and girls, you did a really good job. Now I want you to sit in your chair. So we did a fun little activity where we did some movement by moving our bodies. We took our chair and we pulled it to ourselves, and we also pushed it back under our table. We used force to move that chair. And so, again, we used motion, we used force, push and pull. And now for the fun part. We are going to start our drawing. So get your paper and your crayons and let's get started. So, boys and girls, for our drawing today, we're going to do something really fun. We are going to be pretending. We are going to pretend that we are in a pumpkin field or a pumpkin patch. Now, what do I mean when I say we're going to be pretending we are in a pumpkin patch or on a pumpkin farm? Let's think about that. Well, if you said that we are going to be using our imaginations, we're going to be thinking inside of our head, and we're going to be pretending, that means that we're really not going to be in a pumpkin patch or a pumpkin field, but we are going to be thinking about it in our head, and we're going to kind of draw it in our head as we go through our drawing today. So our big word is pretend. So let's play a little pretend game. All right. Pretend that you are a cat. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow. Good job. Those are some amazing cats. Wow. Now I want you to pretend. Remember, we're using our imagination and we are pretending you are going to be eating your favorite ice cream, and it's going to be on an ice cream cone. Ready? Let's eat our ice cream. Tastes so good. Now, are we really eating ice cream right now? No, we are pretending to eat our ice cream. Let's try that again. We will pretend to eat our ice cream one time. Good job. That was some great pretending. Awesome. Let's do one more. I want you to pretend that you were a bird and that you're going to be flying through the sky. Okay, ready? Remember, we're pretending. Arms up, and we are flying in the sky. Good job. It looks like you guys have been doing a lot of pretending because you did this perfectly. It is great. Good job. And now that we know what pretend means, that it's in our imagination, we are going to pretend that we are on a pumpkin patch or in a pumpkin field, and we are ready to start drawing. So, boys and girls, this is what a real pumpkin patch or pumpkin field looks like. There are lots of pumpkins all over, and what happened was someone, probably a farmer, planted seeds, and those seeds grew and grew and grew and made all of these different plants. Now, pumpkins grow on a vine, so we can see here that there are parts of the vine, and so we have pumpkin vines that grow our what, boys and girls? Pumpkins. Good job. But our pumpkins are still connected to the plant. We're going to be picking pumpkins today, and we're going to have to use some of that push and pull, that force and motion that you learned to pick our pumpkins in our imagination. And so again, we're visiting a little farm, pumpkin farm or pumpkin patch in our heads today. We are going to start off first by drawing a road. So what I want you to do is I want you to look into your crayon container or your crayons that are on your desk, and I want you to get a brown. And what we're going to do is we are going to use our brown to draw our road. So you have your brown crayon, and if you're not sure, this is what the color brown looks like. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw a road. And when we draw our road, we're going to be using our wavy lines, And so this is what your wavy line looks like. And I'm going to put it right here, about in the middle of your paper, using your brown crayon. You're going to start on this side, and you're going to go up and around, up and around, up and around, up and around. And that was our wavy line. Draw yours now. Good job. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be using this shape. What shape is this, boys and girls? If you said a rectangle, you are right. We're going to be drawing a rectangle. our rectangle is going to be something that we're going to use to pull our pumpkins back to the road from the pumpkin patch. So what we're going to do is, here is our road, and you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of space. So you're going to draw a straight line about right here. So draw your straight line. And what we are trying to do here is we are trying to make a wagon. Now, some of you know a wagon as a red wagon, but there's also another kind of wagon, and that is a wooden wagon. It's up to you on the one that you want to make today. So let's make our wagon using our rectangle shape. So we started, and this is the top of our rectangle. And now I want you to draw another line underneath, leaving a little bit of space, just like this. Good job. Now we're going to put the lines on the side. So we're going to put one line here, and now we have our rectangle. Good job. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our straight line, and we're going to make our wagon look like it has maybe some wood and some lines on the side of it. So here we go, straight line, and you can put your straight lines anywhere that you want on your rectangle, which is going to be the wood of your wagon. Good job. All right, so if I need to have my wagon move and put it into motion, how is it going to roll? What am I missing? If you said wheels, you are right. So now let's look into our container or on our desk, and I'm looking for my black. So now I have my black, and this is what your black should look like. Awesome. And now I want to draw my wheels. If I draw my wheels, I'm going to be using this shape. Do you know what this shape might be, boys and girls? If you said it is a circle, you are correct. So right under our wagon, we're going to draw one circle, and we're going to draw a little circle on the inside. That's one wheel. And we're also going to draw another circle, and we're going to draw a little one inside. Good job. While we still have our black crayon in our hand, the next thing that we need to do is we need to put this part on our wagon. What do you think the part that we pull with is called? If you said a handle, you were right. So here we're going to use our straight line, and we're going to do straight line. We're going to do another little bitty straight line right here, going the opposite way. We now have our wagon. Good job, boys and girls. All right, we have our wagon, and now we need to do something with our wagon. We need to put ourselves pulling the wagon. Do you think it's easier to pull a wagon, or do you think it's better to push a wagon? Well, you can do both, but it's really easier if you pull the wagon. So we are going to pull the wagon. With your black crayon, we're going to start first, and we're going to use our circle again. And here we go. We're going to go about right here, and this is going to be our circle for our, if we're drawing ourselves, it's our head. Good job. So we're drawing our head. The next shape that we're going to use is our lovely rectangle. But instead of using it going across, we're going to turn it up and down. So now we want to draw our rectangle, one line down and across and back up. And we're going to close it off on the top. There is our body. Now, we know that we don't just have a head and a body. We also have arms and legs. So here we go. Now this arm, we need to make sure that we're holding the wagon with our hand. So here we go. Here's our arm. And we're going to put our fingers. How many fingers do we have? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to go 1 little line, 2 little lines, 3, 4, and 5 little lines. And that is our hand holding the wagon. Now we need to make our other hand. And here we go. So here's our arm. We're going to make our arm, and then we're going to put that little hand we just talked about here. Again, using our 5 fingers. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 fingers. Awesome. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 1 straight line going down under our rectangle. And here is another. And then if you want, you can put some little feet. Awesome. All right, now let's think about what kind of hair you have. Miss Jennifer has curly hair. Some of you have long, straight hair. Some of you have really short hair. Maybe your hair is standing up a little bit. Let's add our hair. And so I'm just going to kind of scribble some hair on top of my head. Ooh, your hair looks nice. Good job. Now we need to make our eyes. And so we're going to do 2 little dots or 2 little circles for our eyes. And we need to make our nose. We're going to use a little line for our nose. And then we're going to use another line. And that would be our curved line that we turn over to make our smile. Because I think that we're going to be so happy picking our pumpkins today. All right. All right, so let's think about pumpkins. We now have our wagon. We have a picture of ourselves. And the next thing that we need to make is our pumpkin patch. Remember, the pumpkin patch is the place where all of the pumpkins grow. So, on the pumpkin patch, sometimes we have really small little pumpkins. Do you think those would be hard to get off the vine? Do you think that you would have to pull it off the vine or push it off the vine? Well, I think that if we pull it off the vine, I think this little pumpkin will be so much easier to pick. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pretend that we are pulling that little pumpkin off of the vine. Now remember, we talked about this. These vines grow in the field and the pumpkin's connected. So we're going to be pulling our little pumpkin. Let's get our brown crayon again. Here's what it looks like. And we're going to be using the shape of a what? Circle to make our pumpkins. And so here we go. We're going to draw our little tiny pumpkin with our brown crayon. And I also want to put a line going this way and a line going that way. And those are our curved lines. Now the next one I have is a medium-sized pumpkin. Do you think that one would be easier to pull or push off the vine? This one's getting a little heavy. I think that we're going to need to push it off the vine. So let's now make our next pumpkin. That is our medium size with the curved line here and a curved line there. Good job. Now, if we talked about a small pumpkin and a medium-sized pumpkin, what size do you think might be next? If you said a large pumpkin, you are correct. So here's our large pumpkin. This one's going to be pretty big. If we wanted to pick this pumpkin in our pumpkin patch, would we have to pull it off the vine or push it off the vine? I think we'd have to push it off the vine. This is going to be pretty heavy, and we might even have to get a friend to help us push. All right, so here we go. Let's make our big circle and our curved line and curved line. And now we have our 3 pumpkins. Our small, our medium, and our large. Now, I want you to think about, oh, I just pulled that little pumpkin off of the vine, and now I want to put it in my basket. Small circle and 2 little curved lines. I want to pick one more pumpkin. I think I want to put the big one in my wagon. Are we going to pull that one off the vine or push it off the vine? If you said we're going to push it off the vine, good job. That one's pretty heavy. We're going to have to use a lot of force to push it all the way up the wagon, just like this. All right, so now we have our pumpkins. The next thing that I want to do is I want us to get our green crayon. This is our green. And we're going to make little rectangles right on the top of each of our pumpkins, just like this. Good job. All right, we also want to make some grass with our zigzag line. Remember, that's our line that goes up and down. Zigzag line. And here's our zigzag line. And so we want to keep making grass all the way around the ground. Good job. Now, you might also want to put a straight line, and then watch this. I'm just going to kind of scribble a little bit to make a leaf. A straight line, scribble it a little bit to make a leaf. And I'm going to do the same thing here and here. All right. So there we have our wagon. We're pulling our wagon, and we've just picked our pumpkins. So now we have learned about pulling our wagon. We've learned about pushing our pumpkins. Now we need to pull that wagon. If we pull that wagon, do we need to use motion and force to pull that heavy wagon? Yes, we do. So there you go. We are now going to be pulling. We pushed our pumpkin, and we're going to use our force and motion to move our wagon along. So we are getting ready to color our picture together. I'm going to color my wagon first. Now, I have a wooden wagon, but I decided, because I'm an artist, of course, I decided to paint my wagon red. When I color it, my brown lines are going to still show, and that's what's going to make it look like it's still wood. All right, so I'm coloring my rectangle red. I have a red wagon. And you can still see the lines through it so that you can see that it is a wooden wagon. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color my wheels. I'm going to use my black to color my wheels. I want a fancy wagon. I'm going to leave the inside circle white so that it looks like it might have some little like rims on it or some little hubcaps on it. There we go. All right. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my purple color, and you can use any colors that you want. You don't have to use the colors that I am using. Let's just be creative. Just use your imagination. Just have fun coloring. I think I want my little shirt to be purple. You might want a pink one. You might want a blue one. You might want a green shirt. It's really up to you, but I like purple. The next thing I want to do is I want to color my pumpkins orange. So I'm going to color my circles with my orange. And so the next thing I'm doing is coloring my pumpkins. I colored my small, I'm coloring my medium size, and my large pumpkin. pumpkin, just like this. And I'm going to color this pumpkin, and I'm also going to color this pumpkin. And there we go. So now I have my pumpkins colored. I think next I'm going to pick my green, and I'm going to color the stems of my pumpkin. So the part that connects to the vine, these little rectangles, are called stems. Let's say it together. Stems. Good job. Let's color our stems. If you have to color in your leaf, you can do that now. Just like that. All right. And so those are colored. Guys, your pictures are looking great. Good job. I like the fact that you're using different colors from the colors that I used for my picture. That always makes it exciting when we change the colors and we make it our own. Good job. All right, so now I want to color the bottom of my paper because I want to color my grass. So I'm going to color all of the bottom of my paper. And you know what? Actually, I kind of like the brown pumpkins because they show really nice next to that green. That's why I drew them with the brown and colored them with the orange. And you know what? I think I also want to put this part green too. So I'm going to color all of this part underneath my wavy line. And my wavy line is my heel. So you are going to be pulling your wagon up the hill. Do you think you're going to have to use a lot of force to pull it up the hill? I think you will. All right, so there's my ground. And I now want to color my sky. I'm going to pick blue for that. And I'm going to color all of the white that is up on the top of my heel. All right, so boys and girls, you will notice as I am coloring my sky, I am not pressing really hard on my crayon. I'm coloring it very softly so that my color is very light. That way you can see all the things that are in my picture. If I colored it really hard, then it would be hard to see my pretty pumpkins or even maybe myself. So here I'm coloring my sky. Now I want to go back and I want to use my green because I also colored this part very lightly. But now I want to go back and I want to push a little harder on my crayon, and I want to make some parts look darker than the light color I already colored on my paper. And there you go. You can see that it is now darker. So it's always a good idea to color light and then come back later and you can color a little darker in the places that you need. So boys and girls, we are finished with our little drawing for today. We've learned a lot of different things and I am looking forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, have fun making art.